We now finally have some news! Oh my goodness, this is absolutely not the kind of news that I thought we'd be getting, but we're getting it nonetheless. Today, we are starting out the conversation by talking about Chicago Blackhawks forward Frank Nazar III. A guy whom we've spoken about a bunch over the past few years, ever since his draft-eligible season in 2022. You may remember the Why I Want video that we made about Frank Nazar and his overall profile. It's actually right here on Elite Prospects, so I'm very happy for them to have put my video onto their page. It really takes away the imposter syndrome after all. But Frank Nazar III and his overall body of work is pretty good. He's a 21-year-old forward, 5'10", 190, right-handed guy, center right wing, who has just signed to, admittedly, a massive contract extension today. You could already see the number on your screen here, but I just wanted to give y'all the tale of the tape here. Frank Nazar played 3 games at the end of 2023-2024 with Chicago after graduating from the University of Michigan, and then in the most recent season, he had 53 games and 26 points. In totality, Frank Nazar III in the NHL is up there at 56 games, 13 goals, and 14 assists. And this 21-year-old just signed a $6.59 million AAV extension that takes him until 2033. Oh my gosh, $6.59 million? Screw Luke Hughes being the first domino to fall and potentially change the entire narrative on the NHL market and the upcoming salary cap increases. Frank Nazar has gone out there and pretty much done that. Take a look at this. Frank Nazar, extension, 7-year contract, $6.59 million a year. And interestingly enough, you might think, oh wow, this guy has such limited experience, he's making $6.59 mil, how are people going to react? Here's the thing. Blackhawks fans are mostly positive. Thank you, Kirby Doc. Let's go. Nazar keeps on going. Keep cooking, Frank Nazar. Frank the Tank, great signing. Lock it in, Frank. Am I insane to think this is a lot? I mean, I like Nazar a lot, but he's proven nothing. And we're giving him $6.6 million a year now? It's basically like the Jack Hughes situation with New Jersey. Look at Hughes' numbers after 2 years, and now it's a bargain. This will be equivalent to about half that with the rising cap. It's a projection and a smart one. Nazar is poised, drives play with his skating, is tenacious, good shot, hard on pucks, and he went on a tear to end the season. This is a great deal. For reference, we had ourselves some more conversations brought up about the contract amount and just the salary attached to it, particularly from Elliot Friedman, who went out there and posted this once the contract was signed. Greetings from Milan, the site of the NHL and NHLPA European Media Tour. Some news. I'm hearing Chicago is closing in on an extension for Nazar, a key building block of its rebuild. Going to be somewhere above $6 million AAV. A couple of sources indicating it'll be the largest contract ever signed by a forward at his NHL experience, at 56 games. The Kaprizov current deal is 5 years by $9 million a year, when he had 55 games played. Nazar will be at 7 years times 6.59 plus, which is slightly above $46 million in 56 games played total. And then you have a reply that says, I fail to see why Nazar and Kaprizov are being spoken about in the same sentence, because he previously posted that Nazar's would be the largest contract for someone who's played Nazar's total of games. Frank Nazar is literally doing what Kirill Kaprizov did. And if you do the math here, Nazar's contract is technically higher than what Kaprizov ended up getting on his deal. The situation is a little different, though, because, of course, Frank Nazar was drafted by Chicago, he developed in the NCAA, he inevitably made the transition over, and he's 21 years old. Kirill Kaprizov was a lot older when he made his debut with Minnesota and inevitably when he had signed his contract extension. Kaprizov was also an immediate point-per-game superstar, so this contract was pretty justifiable, even in the lower cap world in which it was signed. Now that Frank Nazar is breaking Kirill Kaprizov's record, it really sets a new standard as to what these RFAs and contract extension guys could potentially get. Nazar, by the way, still has one more year on his entry-level contract, so he got the contract extension done early. He decided, hey, I'm going to lock it in. I want to stick around here in Chicago. It's a big piece to step alongside a Connor Bedard for the foreseeable future. Frank Nazar has a lot going for him. I've always been a fan of this guy. We spoke about it in the Why I Want. This is a really talented piece, and now he's getting paid like the projection shows that he probably should be over the next few years if he continues to get better. But speaking about Minnesota and what's going on with Kirill Kaprizov, I wanted to shift gears slightly over to what the Wild Beat is talking about, because we have ourselves a new update on one of the biggest guys in their organization that does need a deal. Michael Russo tweeted this out earlier in the morning. I'm hearing there has been significant progress towards a potential Marco Rossi signing by the Wild in the coming days. As we've been reporting, a bridge deal makes the most sense. Brett goes out there and responds, give him 3 years and hopefully his value increases, and then trade him. Russo then says, yep. Can you provide an example of a bridge deal in this situation? 2 or 3 years times $5 million-ish is my guess, Russo says. So Marco Rossi is now in a much more likely position to get re-signed by Minnesota. And honestly, I'm kind of bored. Like, yeah, we got the Frank Nazar signing, but we've been talking about a Marco Rossi offer sheet or a trade or something for the past few weeks here. And now hearing that, yeah, the Wild are just going to end up re-signing the guy after going to places unknown with them trash-talking their client and not really being on his side. It's like, okay, well, now you guys are just going to find the resolution here. Whoop-de-doo, what a great way to end off this saga. I mean, the Wild have a bunch of cap space, so of course, whatever offer sheet came their way, they probably would have been able to match. But Rossi still, he can provide value for this team. And with all the negotiation stuff that went on in the summer, you know this guy's going to come into camp with a chip on his shoulder. He had 60 points in 82 games the most recent season, was half a point a game in the playoffs, scored a bunch of goals, and was still able to do that despite the fourth-line projection. Marco Rossi is a talented piece, and the Minnesota Wild are technically getting better by sticking him onto the roster rather than giving him up for whatever futures and other stuff they could get in return. Rossi was linked to Vancouver and Seattle earlier this morning as well, so that's kind of weird to see that immediately get shut down the very next minute, it seemed like. So yeah, Marco Rossi. This guy could be following in the footsteps of Frank Nazar, except he could be signing a bridge deal rather than a 7-year extension that takes place next year. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Firstly, about Frank Nazar III getting himself a 7-year, $6.59 million AAV contract extension. What are your thoughts on the deal itself? Do you think it's going to age properly? What are your thoughts on Marco Rossi and the new news on him? Minnesota seems to be signing him soon. Thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.